All right. Let's get started. Uh, Today is going to be a question and answer section, right? Question and answer, right? And the question and answer will be on probably what you've learned in my channel, right? What you've learned in there, and I hope my network will not disappoint me today, right? So. Um, Probably on my Telegram channel or on my YouTube channel, then I will try as much as possible to answer you. But if I see that those questions are what has been shared in the mentorship, then I might not actually share it because that is what some other people really paid for. Okay. I am going to allow you because based on what I actually the settings I put this meeting, you cannot actually talk. But I will allow some people to probably if you have a question, right? There are two ways to do that. You can send your section your question in the chat box, right? Or you raise your hand, right? You click on raise hand, then I will unmute you, then allow you to ask your question. So it's going to be one person at a time, so that every it will not be a rowdy section. So if you have any question, just send your section. Your I mean, if you have any question, send your question to the chat box, or you send it. You raise your hand and you talk. Right. So that is what I want to do. Or let me try to see if I can unmute everybody. Then, if you want to talk, just I will give you the permission to talk. Then, if you see that one person is talking, please just hold on till that individual is done. Then you can ask your question. All right. Let me try to do that. If that will be wise enough for me. Okay. I can see someone is raising his hand. Let me unmute him. That's user's iPad. Um, so I guess you can talk now. You are not. Let me try to make this. All right, you can unmute yourself and talk back to me. That's user iPad, right? Can unmute yourself and talk back to me. So I'm waiting. So let me see the question on the chat box if there is anything. All right. Um, we teach how to take those 1 to 100 RR. So yeah, this 1 to 100 RR. Actually, say there's something I need to really talk to you guys about. Don't don't be carried away. Please just hold on. Don't be carried away with risk reward ratio. The most important thing is you winning in the market. Quite all right. We have many strategies that have high risk reward ratio, but I can tell you that LPC system is quite different from all, right? Quite different from all, right? We don't have many stop losses. In fact, our losses are actually very minimal. In this system, is actually more than 70% win rate. 70% win rate, and with a minimum of 1 to 10 risk reward ratio, you can calculate how much that will be. A minimum of uh, 1 to 10 risk reward ratio. That shows if you risk 1%, you are going to get 10%. Then in a week, you can get at least 5 trades, right? Or let's say 10 trades in a week, depending on how well you're actually trading or how available you are to trade. So it's not a matter of taking 1 to 100. If I see 1 to 100 is fine, as I hardly probably once in a week, right? Once in a week, I'm trying to meet everybody so that um, once in a week I can get 1 to 100 on a pair, 1 to 80, 1 to 97, as the case may be. Sometimes it might actually be once in 2 weeks. So it is not every time that that opportunity will actually unfold itself. As I'm a day trader, right? I close all my trade at the end of the day. As many of you would have seen, let me show you something on my flashcard. You would have seen this overall, probably ORP on my chart. That actually means overall pips that the market gave for that day. Let me try to display that if I can find it. So it means overall, if you see something like this, ORP, right? ORP means overall. That shows at the end of the day, I always close the pair, the trade at the end of the day. My first take profit is 1 to 10, and the second take profit will be at the end of the day. So sometimes the market might reverse and might not come to and might not actually give me massive risk reward ratio at the end of the day, but I would have taken my 1 to 10. But sometimes it will give something like this that we have here, right? Um, this is at the end of the day, which is Euro GBP trade that I took yesterday. Now, this Euro GBP gave 1 to 97, right? As at yesterday, before the end of the day, you can see this was when I closed it, gave me about 97 pips. Then I have about 1 pip stop loss. Then this gave about 1 to 10 risk reward ratio, 1 pip stop loss also. So the ability, the major skills of this strategy is um, refining of our zones for us to get the exact point where the market will really reverse from. And basically, that is what um, is really giving us more edge. The same way, just like an individual that would have actually traded and used 10 pip stop loss, 50 pip stop loss, that is the same trade that we're going to trade, and we're going to have 1 pip stop loss. So it's just the ability for us to look for the exact zone that the market will reverse and actually trade away from there. And there might actually be sometimes whereby we are going to miss trade. Definitely, you are going to see many of such. But just be rest assured. Okay, just for example, let me just spot, for example, for you, I will just give an instance, right? Let me just give an instance. Let me look for that. Now, for an instance, an individual would have actually used this probably M15 structure here and M5. It would have actually calculated this stop loss to be about, let's say, let me go back to this trade, right? This 15 minutes time frame, then mark it and show the trade. Then you will see what I'm talking about. GBP 15 minutes time frame. GBP you will see how we've used uh, just a minute. Let this load. Right. Um, this particular point here, let's assume that this is your entry here, and some people would have actually put their stop loss here. That is about 13 pips. The same trade that people would have actually taken, that people would have really put their pending order here or take their entries there, then probably looking at their stop loss about 15 pips, right? Then now, if your stop loss is 15 pips, right? If your stop loss is 15 pips, then you actually want to close the trade at the end of the day, just like the style I always have, or just having a target of 1 to 10. Now, if you're closing your trade at the end of the day, this is about 110, right? This give about 110 at the same point, 110 pips as both of us are using 110 pips as take profit. Now, he's using 15 pips, right, as stop loss. So at the end of the day, he's going to get 1 to 10 risk reward ratio. 1 to 7 risk reward ratio. But I have the ability to refine my entries, right, and get the exact point that the market is going to reverse from. And this gave me about 1 pip, right? Sometimes no pip at all, no drawdown at all. So with this, I know the exact point that the market will reverse from. Then I have just 1 pip stop loss. Then my target is still the same 110 pip. So when he's banking 7% of his account, I'm going to be doubling my accounts even with extra 10% on it. That's about 110%. So that is just it. So when you have a strategy that's actually paying you well, is just normal. You stick to it. Don't jump to the LPC, all right? Don't jump to any other strategy that you think that is giving whatsoever. Now, so let me take another question as I am following the question here before I allow some other people to ask via the stuff. So if you want to actually really learn how to refine that, then you need to join into the mentorship, because I know the course has been leaked, but I can actually will actually disappoint you that what you have is not what my student read. What is linked out As many people that actually have the course out is not what you trade. Quote me anywhere, is not what they trade really. I can actually tell you that. Is when you get into the mentorship that you actually get the point and actually going to trade the same way I do. Because on a normal day, we have live sections almost every day. Not almost every, just like 2 weeks now. I've not really been consistent with the live trading section, whereby we mark chart in real time and how price we're actually going to react to them. So if you are not there, then you're actually missing. Or you are among those people that stole the course, then good luck to you. So let's see another question. Which swing to choose when identifying market structure? Okay, when you actually identify market structure, the best way to identify market structure is the characteristics of the market structure. That what is the characteristics of the market structure? For me, this is how I characterize market structure. I want to see an impulsive move that will make an higher high, then market come back in a ranging market to form an higher low, right? Then I want to see another impulsive move to break this high to form an higher high. Then I want to see another compressed price action to form an higher low, then another impulsive move, then another ranging market to come back. Then for the bearish market, impulsive move to form a lower low, compressed manner to form a lower high, impulsive move to form a lower low, a ranging market, a compressed squeezed manner, they are still the same thing to form a lower high, then something like that. So this is how I look for a good zone and also a market structure to really trade from. So my swing high and low will be located via these particular characteristics that I have marked. For example, um, I don't want this particular section to exceed 45 minutes. For example, looking at this, right, if I actually want to label this structure, this is a lower high. I can see that market was coming back in a ranging market. You can see it was just spiking, spiking, spiking. It formed a lower high, the market made another lower low. Impulsive move. I can see impulsive move. You can see these three candles are impulsive. These two candles are impulsive. These two candles are impulsive. I can see that impulsive within that structure. So that is a lower low. Then this is another lower high. Do we have some kind of impulsive move in here? So according to my theory, there are some stuff that I call DXI, right? Double-sided impulsiveness. That is a sign of a reversal, right? When I spot such, then I will know that market structure is about to reverse. This is actually that kind of a DXI pattern that I can see a double-sided impulsiveness. And with that, I will know that market structure is about to trend higher. So you can see what I just said, that those DXI at the end of a trend, at the beginning of a trend, just to characterize a reversal pattern. So this is what I can see here. Then market structure change. You can see impulsive move. Look at how market was not impulsive. Then how to count impulsive is actually look at how long does it take this candle from this low to this high. How many candles? We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 candles. Then look at how long it took it from this high to this low. If you count the candles, they are actually close to 20 or 30, as you can see it here. So you will know that this is actually a ranging market and it's not really impulsive. So that is how to calculate impulsive and ranging. You just look at how the market retraces back into it and look at the momentum or look at how long it took that candles, right, to get to that zone. So this is a way for you to really identify structure, right? Then you can see market break this high again with an impulsive, come back again, then look at how market is coming back. So that is how you spot your swing high and low, right? I've really done justice to this in my new video on market structure, but that is actually in the mentorship class. Let's see some other stuff, right? Another question that was asked here. So how do you enter your trade on breakup blocks? Really, I don't really trade breakup block. I teach it, but I will show you how it is done, right? So um, let's find the breakup block. Let's find the breakup block. Then let's see how we can actually trade of it. Now, can I find another one example? Right. One example. Let me just look for one example, then actually show. I actually see one. Yeah. Now, this is a breaker block. This particular eye is a breaker block. Now, anytime I want to trade a breaker, be it swing eye or a main breaker block, anytime I want to trade it, I actually love seeing three types of zone, or any of my three zones beside that breaker block. And what are these three zones? I'm looking for either another block to be beside it, or a KOB, a king OB, right, or a fair value gap beside that zone, right? Just for example, this one, I have another block here, right? And I believe that when market come back, market will actually surely come back into this other block and moved away. And that's really what happened, but it was broken with some weeks, as you can see that. Then before market really traded away from that. So when you see a breaker block, that is the perfect way to trade that. Let me see if I can find another example. Um, find another example. Now, this should be one. All right, look at this. This is something like a breaker block or a breaker or a break in market structure. And beside this zone, we have something like a KOB beside it. Right. So this KOB will serve as a rejection. Now, I did a video on this on my YouTube channel. You can search for it, how to trade a breaker, strong OB and KOB. Right. They are on my channel. I guess I actually did a whole lot of justice on that. You can search for that video and study it. I believe it will really help you. Right. So let me see another question. Um, in USD30, did did it short sell? H1 is in downtrend trend, and it came back to the liquidity zone in M15, but didn't react to it. Is this a correct understanding? A correct understanding of liquidity zone, H1 and M15, right? You actually did send your chart, but for me to be opening that link now, it might actually be. Um, you can send that question to me personally on Telegram, right? And I'm going to project that so that I will not be the opening links here, right? So, I'm going to check that here. USD30. Let me read that question again. Did is in downtrend and price came back to the liquidity zone in M15, but price didn't react to it, right? A downtrend. H1 is downtrend. Okay. Then in M15, back to the, you have to re-show. Please, the person that sent this question, you have to send the picture, not the link. Send the picture to my Telegram. Then I'm going to look at it and project it and teach it. Okay. Are you teaching ICT or BTM strategy? Strategy structure. I'm not teaching ICT. I am not teaching BTMM. Right. People, if you like say that I'm rebranding ICT, that's your headache, right? And that's your problem. What I'm teaching you will never find it in ICT. The only thing, and I give all credit to Michael of ICT, even though I didn't learn that from him. If you hear about fair value gap, it is ICT term. If you hear about other block, it is ITC term. And probably breaker, it is ICT term. Every other thing they are going to say in my course, they are not ICT. Please take note of that. And I can tell you, I don't need to vow with anything or swear with anything or whatsoever. I don't really need that. But I can tell you, I have never studied ICT before. The only thing I have actually looked into is actually ICT Forex Max 2007 or 2017. That is the only stuff. Now, what I learned, other blog, I actually learned that from Nado, right? You guys know Nado. It should be popular among you guys. Now, I learned that from Nado. Fair value gap, I saw that in another, probably another group I belongs to, in which I've actually left all those groups. Fair value gap. Then breaker, I saw that on I guess it was Nado also that explained breaker. Then also send a short video of that. I think I've already sent that short video also to my page. But every other thing that I do, even how to use fair value gap, how to use other blocks that I'm doing, everything is my own discovery. But take note of this: man is a product of influence. There is no man that is self-made, right? Just like many of you are accusing Michael that he actually stole, I've forgotten the name of, probably Chris Laurie or Wyckoff stuff. That is the same way that YCT is actually defending himself that it doesn't rebrand Wyckoff stuff. So that's actually the same way some other people that are they are saying that we probably some other trader that are trading probably something that looks like ICT. You said uh, probably they're actually rebranded. So that's actually your own headache. The most important thing is that look for what will pay you and actually trade it. I never studied ICT and I did not rebrand anything. Whatever term ICT said it is, that is what I'm using. ICT said fair value gap, that's what I'm using. I did not call it any other name that I don't know, right? But every other term that you are seeing, right, on my term, on my channel, they are what I learned. Even Nado stuff, I'm not trading Nado strategy again. Some of you will say, oh, he rebranded now those stuff. I've actually heard that, but that's actually your own problem. So you also can look for another person's course and rebrand it, and let's see how you're going to be successful with that. Right. Or have you ever seen anything like 1 to 10 risk reward ratio in ICT term, or probably in NADO flashcard? You never see anything like that. All what I discovered, my students know, I keep on building on my strategy. Even I told one of them that I'm coming very close to the Holy Ground. And very soon, probably I'm going to come to that. I don't know. But I give honor to whom honor is due. I give honor to Nado. Once in a while, sending message to appreciate him. ICT, I don't know him because I've never joined his class or whatsoever, right? So I did not teach anything. And BCMM that I was trading before was actually the style of Nado. Then there was actually a mentor that actually taught me BTMM also, but I actually did not understand what BTMM was then. But later on, I come to understand it more. But I can tell you that I am not trading all those things. Please take notes. So if you like, you can still continue that is ICT that I'm trading. Then it's actually your own problem, not mine. Do you say you don't use a stop loss? Where did I say I don't use stop loss? I'm not sure I said something like that I don't use stop loss. How will I be teaching on psychology, market psychology, emotion, risk trading management, and I will not be using stop loss? It's not possible. You have never heard something like that from me. My question is, how can one determine an IP zone, and what are the criteria for a good IP zone? Now, the good criteria for a good IP zone, what are IP zones? IP zones are point of interest. Like there are zones where you are expecting the market to really reverse from. And what are these zones, right? We have order blocks, right, in which I have different types of order blocks. My own order blocks are just they are just engulfing candle, railroad track, and what is another name for this? I call that multiple break block. That's my own kind of order block. It is not order block according to ICT. I'm so sorry for that. So those are my IP zones. Then fair value gap and king OB. So that those are the zones that I used, right, as a rejection zone. And make sure the criteria for this is that those zones must be in line with the market structure. Then number two, they must not have been retested before. Then also it must have the characteristics of an order blocks. Now, if you want to know the characteristics of an order blocks, go and study my video on strong order blocks. Right, I gave the characteristics of an order block, and these characteristics of an order block also fit into every other zones. So when you see those characteristics, those are the best zone to trade from, right? All right, all right. The IP zones are actually zones that have never been tested. It has impulsive, then it breaks market structure, and also it is in line with the market structure, right? So can you show the candle you refine this entry on M1? Which, okay, I guess I showed an example, right? Is on M1, right? The what I refined it is on M1. How much is your mentorship, please? My mentorship is actually on close. I'm not taking in students again for now, right? So when it's time for us to open it again, we are going to announce that to you, because I really need to focus on my students and make sure that many of them graduate to the mentorship class. For now, I still have many new students. They are still studying the course, but uh, I want many of them also to join the mentorship class before I will take in students. So it might be the end of this month, it might be next month, um, and it might be, I don't know. But anytime you want to start the new class, then you will see my announcement on that. All right. So okay, I think I've answered it. How do you know the BMS? The BMS simply means break of structure. So if I see break of market structure, then I know that is BMS. BMS simply means break of market structure. So how do you know break of market structure? If this is higher high, this is higher low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low, then I will know this structure has been broken, because this is a higher low, right? And this market structure came back to break this. So that makes it a break of structure. That shows this particular price action came to break this low, then that is a break of structure. So that is how you identify structure. Or probably you have another one, higher high, higher low, under higher high. Now, this is a previous higher high. The market came to break it. So this is also another break of structure. So in most cases, you are expecting market to retrace back and you trade from here. Or you're expecting market to retrace back and you trade from here, go down. So simply, that is what I do. That is what I trade. That is how we trade. All right. But this concept is actually very simple. So let's see, what do free mentorship get? I don't know. Free mentorship get free things. Free mentorship get free things. So the free mentorship is not open to anybody again. If you want to study the free materials, then see the arrangement already arranged them in I mean accordingly. Then you can go to the telegram. I mean to the is on the Telegram channel. Then you can also see it on my YouTube channel where under the playlist liquidity provider concept. Just study everything under the liquidity provider concept. Right. There's a playlist titled liquidity provider concept. Those are where I actually upload the materials that will really help you in this FX game effectively. Right. So you can study them and you're actually going to be glad you did. So is breakup block breakup structure? No, it is not breakup structure. Breakup block is different from breakup structure. But mostly I use breakup structure to determine trend. So let's see another question, sir. So I see an 8 pattern from higher time frame, 4 hour, right? So I go to the M15 to streamline in to get the perfect entry, but I'm going to the see a multiple strong OB, right, formed in higher time frame. So my question, how would I know? Okay, in this case, right, go to the extreme. The strong OB at the extreme is what you should use. Now, if you see many strong OBs on your way going there, you are going to choose the last strong OB. That is actually what you should use. The last strong OB, that is what you should use. So how do you then make entries to trade breaker blocks? Right. You should see that I don't use breaker blocks as entries. I only use them as rejection zone to find my entries. I boss, do you consider Wyckoff adding to trading method? I don't trade Wyckoff. I know Wyckoff. The only thing I know in Wyckoff is the pattern, right? Their pattern. I don't know what they call it. That schematic, right? All the schematic pattern, right? Those are the things I actually know in Wyckoff. But some of that, Wyckoff is actually very big. There are some other stuff, the something analysis and all those kind of stuff. I've never studied it before, but I'm actually a very smart individual, and I'm also very sharp, right, and very intelligent. So if I see a pattern, right, and that's actually how I really discover my method. After some times of trading, I actually see some pattern playing out over and over again. So I see those patterns, and I actually build some concept around it. It's the same thing with Wyckoff. So when I saw it, and I actually, it looks good to me. And most of you would have actually seen some of my pattern that looks like this: 1, 2, 3, right? So this is actually what I call 3 hit pattern. Now, this 3 hit pattern really looks like Wyckoff, but it's not Wyckoff, but it's actually very similar to Wyckoff schematic pattern, right? So that is actually but I don't study. I've never studied Wyckoff before, but I actually know those patterns, right? Do you take entries? So can you please reduce the mentorship to 350? I'm not sure it's going to be reduced. Please quote me anywhere. I actually know what I'm giving in the mentorship. All right. I know because the payment is actually going to be a lifetime. Then I know what you're going to get. There, I can actually bet it anywhere. You have never seen any mentorship class as mine before. I mean it. If you have seen it, come and tell me that I'm going to pay for that and actually see what they're doing there. Really, if I've never seen any that, probably you might not actually know that until you actually to come to my class. But there might actually be some instances whereby the student might not be pleased because there's no how you're going to please everybody, even though you are a saint, right? There's no how you can please everybody. You still have some people that would not be comfortable with your service. But I can tell you that 99.9% of the students are really satisfied with what they are really seeing in the course. Not all. I cannot say all, but I can tell you that they have never seen something like that before because I will work you out. And how will I work you out? Not to really gain pleasure from really working you out. No, because as I'm working you out, I'm working myself out. And in terms of you doing assignment, and there's no how you will finish my class and you will not be very, very effective in marking charts. There's no how. That is how most of my students, their markings are actually like mine, right? Because I will really make you to mark charts. What you're supposed to mark one chart for, I can tell you to mark 20 chart for it. That is how wicked, not wicked per se, but that is how strict I am, just for you to get what is being done. So it's under a strict monitoring and to ensure that you really get value for what you have paid for. And not only that, we have three weekly webinars whereby we hold it on a weekly basis, 3 days a week. Then we also have daily webinars for another topic entirely, which is actually live chatting. So you can see that commitment and that particular aspect. And if you have questions, you can actually be rest assured that I will get your answer, get you an answer as soon as possible. So how much is your full mentorship? I don't know for yet, probably, but our team is saying 550, but I don't know. How long does it take to master your strategy? If you are very brilliant and you're very available within 1 month, you should know the basics. Then you are going to the strategy is actually a lifetime. So be rest assured that you'll be learning as you are trading. So 1 month is for the basics, then you have extra 2 months, right, to practice what you've learned without trading either demo or live. This is not a mentorship class where you actually come into and what you'll be doing is that I'll be sending you signal. I will never send you signal. You'll be the one to send me signal, right? But within those 2 months, what you'll be doing is that you'll be marking before and after of a trade. That's you're going to mark the before, then at the end of the day, you're going to tell me the result of that before, right? So that by the end of your 1 or 2, probably 6 weeks, actually maximum 6 weeks of doing that, you would have actually have the ability to take entries effectively, right? And you're actually going to your account. Now, there are some students that grow their account by 26% in a day, 30% in a day, some people 70% in a week, depending on how they actually have time to do that. And we have some students that are not getting it. We have some students that are not getting it. So it is not, I will not tell you that some students, all the students are getting, no. We have some students that are not even getting it. We have some students that are not even active at all. After the study the course, then they are nowhere to be found. All right. But I do check up on them. So right. So let's see. Hello, I just got in the meeting. Where can we apply for your coaching? How much is it? I guess I've talked about that. Sorry, I wasn't able to send Telegram. So I don't really know what I can do concerning that, but I will look at it at the end of this class if I can see that. How was how do you develop your strategies? I develop my strategy just like what I said. I'm a product of man, right? I'm a product of influence. All man are impressionable, right? Right. There is no man that will say that he doesn't learn from anyone. No. If you see any man that say that I've never learned FS from anyone, run away from such, right? Because you might likely not get the right thing. But I learned from Nado. I learned from another person called Nonso. Those are the two major people that I really learned from. Two major people that I really learned from. But I can tell you that I'm not trading their method. But that really gave me a mindset of what to look out for in the market. Then also by trading Nado method, by making flashcards of my trades, then I begins to discover many patterns that the market is really painting. I mean, really painting in the market, right? Then that's where I discovered how to trade my entries and how to really take if make maximum use of that. Um, okay, I think having no draw that's not mistaken to be having no stop loss. Okay, well, it's not drawdown. There are sometimes that you have drawdown and your drawdown cannot exceed 0.01 pip or 1 point. So when you have one stop loss pip and you are having drawdown of 10 pips, you should actually know that you are not using stop loss. So that shows you that using one pip stop loss, that is actually equals to no drawdown at all. Right, no drawdown. So can you go over OTE? Have I done OTE before? I'm not sure. But remind me before the end of this class, I'm going to go over. I think I've done a section on OTE. Please alert. OTE is also ICT term. It is not my term. It is ICT term. So all credit to him. OTE, did I learn OTE? I guess where did I learn OTE? I guess it was one or in the Nando's chat group. Like one of them send the OTE, then actually make more research on that and actually learn something on that. How to get into your mentorship? What's your YouTube link? Now you can search my Telegram channel, right? Then you will see some videos that I've posted on Telegram. From my YouTube channel. Then you're going to see them on the Telegram. Then follow the link. You're going to see the link to my YouTube channel, right? How does the mentorship works? I've explained that. What's the best risk reward ratio do you recommend? For me, the minimum I go for is 1 to 10, and I also encourage my students also to go for 1 to 10, right? Because maximum stop loss that we can have is probably 2 pips, 3 pips, sometimes 6 pips, sometimes 10 pips. But It's been long since I actually had 10 pips stop loss. Even though when I'm trading from monthly, I will find a way to really get my entry as low as 3 pips or 2 pips if I'm trading monthly structure. So can you give us an example of a perfect OB? An example of a perfect OB. Okay, let's see. Let me try to find that for you. A perfect example of a perfect OB. Let's see. This is a perfect OB. Can you see how price really traded away, even though it was broken? But that's still a perfect OB. Why? It engulfed, number one, all right? It has an impulsive move, number two. It breaks market structure, number three. Number four, it took out this low liquidity. That is a perfect OB. So most of the time, market will trade back into this and trade away. That is an example of a perfect OB. You can see that everywhere, and I can also show you another one. Let me show you another one, probably the one that works. So this is another one, perfect OB, right? This is one, right? This doesn't take out liquidity, but has impulsive move that break market structure, impulsive move, break market structure, and it engulfed. So this is a perfect one. Can you see how price trade back into it and trade away? These are the zones that I trade from. And with this, you can be rest assured that your entry will actually be very perfect. No such thing as a perfect OB, right? There is actually such thing as a perfect OB. There is such thing as perfect OB. How to get into your mentorship? I guess I've explained that. I will say that again at the end of this class. Um, so no such thing as where I'm looking for the question. How can I know an OB that price would respect? I've just showed you an OB that market will respect. Search that on my YouTube channel, right? I give the characteristics of an OB, right? That an OB or an overall block that has never been tested before is a perfect OB. So most likely that will be respected. I have a whole lot of questions. Uh, I hope I will be able to cover all. So can you consider the spread? Uh, no such thing. How do you consider the spread when? Okay, for the spread, this is how I do for the spread. For example, if my stop loss is here, if my stop loss is here, right, and most of the time I trade pairs that doesn't have that I say most of the time because sometimes I also trade pairs that have um, um, large spread. But based on my broker, I'm using IC Market and Tickmill, right? I sometimes have a 0 pip spread, right? Mostly have 0 pip spread, but sometimes, right, I always put my stop loss about 0.1 pip below it if I'm using 1 pip stop loss or 0.2. But when I'm calculating my risk reward ratio, I don't always calculate it with it because I don't use calculating probably lot size. I have a fixed lot size that I'm using, right? Fixed lot size, so I don't really calculate worry about the extra point that I'm going to add to it. So I don't use, right, calculated lot size. I have a fixed lot size. As my account is growing per week, per day, then I'm actually increasing it. So that's actually how I do that. But spread should be calculated with your stop loss, really. Right. So do you on which time frame do you really in order to make sense on how to use the concept you teach? On which time frame do we rely on? Rely on all time frames. It depends on your timing. For now because of my timing, because of how busy I am, I've been trading just 15 minutes, 1 hour, and 8-4. Right. But sometimes if I spot trade on daily or monthly, I will trade it. I trade all time frames anyway, but as based on the types of trader that I am, I'm an intraday trader, so mostly 1 hour time frame, 15 minutes time frame. That's what I trade. Right? Do you set pending orders for your entries? Yes, I use pending orders. Pending orders. I do use market execution because market execution might actually make me to lose the tight stop loss I'm really looking out for. I tried to get into your free mentorship before and don't know what I did wrong not to get in. You do not follow. If you have sent the information to me, that shows you don't follow the instructions. Anybody that doesn't follow the instructions for the free mentorship, you will not get in. But I'm not really adding anybody again into that class again because it doesn't worth it. Is it giving out free mentorship? Yeah, I give out free mentorship because before, and I give them everything I teach in the mentorship. I taught them. I actually taught them everything I teach in the mentorship, but no longer. I'm not doing that again for the past 1 month because the group is not effective. So I see some of them actually getting out of the group and teaching what I teach on some other channel. So you don't pay for my information and yet you are teaching it. So that's why I don't teach. I don't allow that again. All right. When the breakup block is spotted in the market rejection block, how do you enter trade? Follow market structure and find your entries. That's the answer. How does top-down analysis help to trade your setup? Right. Sometimes I start from um, weekly, right, weekly time frame, mostly daily time frame. Then I drop down into 15 minutes. So from daily, I will see 4 hour, I will see 1 hour, I will see 30 minutes, then 15 minutes, then to decide how to trade. So just to spot a good zone for me to trade from. This question are getting many. I joined the French channel recently and really trade as your entry. How do you get to achieve such huge risk reward ratio, particularly the entries? In case I've explained that, thank you for the comment. But it's just study, study, study. I've been studying and I actually spent long hours on chart. Then I'm also a chart man, right? I chart a lot, so if I take any trades, I actually make sure I mark them. Then, just like what I told my students, this my flashcard have actually been my learning ground because anytime I actually feel confused, probably I'm feeling overconfident in my trading, then I have series of losses, right? If I have series of losses, probably due to complicating what I'm trading or due to overconfidence or just like to know. If Nigeria, you're a Nigerian, you're going to know what I actually said. I to know over Sabi. So with that particular knowledge, I am going to have series of losses. So it is my flashcard that's actually my past trade that I will refer back to. Then I will study them over again and remark them. So with that, I will be seeing new things in the market, and that really helped me to maintain my sanity in the market. I've got my hand raised, and I would those people that raise their hands, I'm still going to allow you to talk. Really, I'm going to let me just answer this question on the chat box. Please explain liquidity and how to identify this in the market. Please go to my YouTube channel, search for liquidity. What's the title again? Just search for liquidity. Is under the playlist of liquidity provider concept. Then you will see a teaching on liquidities. You really like it. What's the link to the free channel? I believe that you've gotten the link here, right? You've actually gotten the link right before you join this. I'm not adding anybody to the free mentorship again, and nobody should really make mention of that to me. I'm doing stock trading. Right, I have quite a number of Indian students. I have about 10 Indian students in my mentorship, and they trade the Indian stock market and their indices, including gold. So you can as well join if you like. So you can apply LPC strategy to trade anything. Even recently, I can actually make you to see the screenshots of what my students are saying concerning LPC and volatility pairs. Then you will really like it. Probably at the end of this class, I might really post that. I don't like really posting something like that because I have a whole lot of testimonies to post, but those are not really what I'm really after. I have a whole lot of testimony, a whole lot of students that have gained 100% in a week, students that have gained 50%, that have grown their account, that are withdrawing, that their broker have to question them on what they are, how much they are withdrawing almost every week. So, but I don't tend to post them. I believe my chart should speak for me. So please teach us the 1 minute entry, please. I don't know. So can we send you a chart markup after studying the chart you upload? You can, right? But make sure when you're marking, make sure I understand your marking. And what do I mean by I understand your marking? If you mark chart that is not based on what I teach, there's no I can understand it. Some of you will make analysis and you send the analysis to me. I cannot understand it. Why? Because it is not based on what I know. So because when you predicted a buy, then my own analysis is saying a sell, then I would not want to condemn your own analysis because I don't know if my own is right. Because trading is a game of probability. What I say is wrong might actually be the right thing. At the end of the day, you might be looking at me as someone that not allow you to take your trade. But if you want to make analysis, make sure it's according to what I teach. Then I will be able to correct you. If you want to make a marking, make sure it's based on how I mark my chart. Then I will be able to correct you. If not, then I can't. Really, I can't. I don't know your Telegram page. My Telegram page is where you saw the link of this Zoom from and join. That shows you're already on the Telegram page. Right. Hello, guys. Okay. All right. I guess this is one of my. This is one of my students. He said, Boss Team is really a good mentor and very strict. Yes, I'm very strict. Many of them know. Thank you for that, Ran. So I was just hoping to see a Zoom call. Where do you see it? It's actually going to be on my Telegram channel that you saw this. Are you still allowing people in your mentorship if they submit their work? No. The free mentorship is closed. The free mentorship is closed. What's the winning percentage of my strategy is more than 70%. More than 70%. Sometimes you might actually not have a losing day, and sometimes you might actually have a losing day. I mean, more loss than win, but at the end of the day, you are seeing profit based on the risk reward ratio. Let's see more questions. I'm tired of reading questions. When the market consolidates, accumulate with liquidity to the upside and downside, what is the best thing to do? Please send me a picture of this. Send me a picture of this for me to know. How do you determine a buy or sell bias? Market structure or my reversal pattern. I have three reversal patterns. Anytime I spot them, when the market is bullish, I know there is no how market will sell. Let me quickly show you that on GBP. Oh, I've already cancelled that. On GBP USD, how did I know that this market is going to sell? Now look at 4 hour time frame. Right, I already spot this particular structure. These are my reversal pattern. Then after I spot them, I know there's going to be something like this, and that's really what happened. So that's just one of the reversal pattern. So that is how I predict my move. Now let's see more. Um, wow. Let's see how do we get another. Um, okay. Uh, I don't know where I am now. Okay. Next one is that how do you react to stop wanted source? I don't trade stop wanted source again. I was actually the one that actually derived that stop wanted source. I trade it, but I trade it with the mindset of ELPC. So I don't really call that stop wanted source again. I've really changed so many things from there. So I trade it with the help of ELPC. For me, I must not see a zone that must be broken. Now, if this is a zone I truly want to trade from, right, and if this zone actually goes to be broken, then I will not trust this zone again, even though it might actually present me with pattern below it. I might trade it with the mindset of ELPC, but ELPC is a counter trade for me. So I don't really consider it. Before I always some of you guys will have actually seen that in Nado's chatting whereby a source will be broken, right? I don't trade such because that shows that that particular block has been validated because this particular block ought to serve as a support or resistance. So when market break it, I will treat it as ELPC and just treat it as a short trade because I know eventually that zone might come back and fail. Right. And sometimes it might really work because just like what I said, trading is a game of probability. What is the free fee for your academy? Right. I think I've actually emphasized on that. How do you stack setup on different pairs and different time frame? How do you screen? Right, right. I don't know how I actually got that ability, but I know I have that ability to do that those screenings. Right. I already mark my charts. Then I only see before London section. I already mark my charts, and those are the zones that I really want to trade from. Or before New York section, I already mark my charts. So I would have really um I will have really written down those pair that I've marked out and I see a good structure on them. Then that is the pair I'm going to focus on for that day. Probably if there are six, then I will just be looking for entry pattern. Then if I spot entry on one, I'm going to set my pending order, then start focusing on some other. So that is really how I trade many pairs at the same time. But it's not advisable because it's really stressful. But I really love that. I really love that stress because of the money. So, does anyone know the Telegram page? You are really asking for that Telegram page. Probably at the end of this class, I'm going to project that. The link is on the YouTube channel, and the free content on YouTube actually help. Right. Thank you. Right. So the link was the YouTube channel. This guy, you're asking so many questions on links. Please teach us how to use 1 minute for entries. I've read this question again. Please teach us how do you consider account management? For now, we're actually planning account management, but that would be for a later date. I'm going to announce that later, but not anytime soon because we're working on some of the documents and some um, government license that we're still processing. So till then, just wait till when we are going to announce. So another question: if you are a profitable, uh, why still create LPC Academy? What's the vision and mission for creating it? Students that are in the class will really know and uh, the vision and mission for creating it. If you go to school, if your professor just say that okay, they are successful in their career and they are not teaching you, I actually count that those questions as unreasonable and actually questions that are actually not wise enough, right? Because if you really think, I've seen some people will say that if a mentor is really profitable, why are you teaching? That's actually a very stupid question to ask. Why? Because if your lecturer doesn't teach you, how do you want to see people to train you? Right? How do you want to be successful? Right? Teaching is an extra income for me, right? Because some people say that they don't make money from teaching. People paid me, right, to get into my class, right? As in now I have close to more than 100 students. So if you calculate that, many of them actually did not pay $350 because some people will tell them the story of their life. Then because of that, you want to give them, okay, just pay $50. Some people even join on credit until now they did not pay. So you can see, though all those things have actually stopped. So I can tell you that probably 40% of the class really paid the actual money. So I will not tell you that it's not an extra income. It's an extra income for me. And as an entrepreneur, you need to think and know have different ways to actually serve as a source of income for you. I have real estate business. I have cryptocurrency business whereby I help people in in deciding what to actually do with their investment. That's actually portfolio management. Then I also have cryptocurrency investment, right? I also help people suggest cryptocurrency to invest on. So all those things are actually bringing me money. So I will not stop by saying, okay, because trading, no, that is actually not wise enough, right? So even if it's half baked and the rest of us is for us to figure out, please teach us in 1 minute. I've really please see my Telegram, I mean my YouTube channel. I guess I sent some question there. Guys, be prepared when joining the course. It's very strict, okay, with the assignment, but very good and patient supportive. All right. A long sent assignment to your mail. Free mentor when it was open, you haven't replied. Yes, right? If you just send me email on the free mentorship and you did not follow the instructions as I actually request for, I will not reply because I already stated it there that if you don't follow this instruction, don't expect any reply from me, right? But sorry, I'm sorry, there's no longer that free web mentorship. How many percent do you trade? Stupid question, but what does ELP stand for? ELP stand for expecting ELPC. Is actually a counter trend, right? When will be the next mentorship begin? Very soon. All right. You are going to mentor me. I promise to be the best student you come across, not only training, but grass you come you feel really. I want you to mentor me. Remember, yeah, yeah. Okay, you can apply when we open the mentorship. How do you trade certain days of the week? Right, Monday I trade all day, but Monday can actually be consolidating. But I really trade all day. I trade all day. People are just trying to find reason to doubt you. Look, right. Many people doubt, so it's not a problem. It doesn't stop you from anything, but you just continue going. All right. I guess I have covered all the questions now. Right. People are just trying to find reason to doubt. Right. Take it from me, having been trader for yeah. Many people are actually doubters. I know. Even many people that are on that page, many of them are saying nonsense, but it doesn't concern me. That's actually cool for me. So if you want to join the mentorship, when it is open, you can join. And I don't know when it will be opened. For now, that's what I have. So let me just take questions from people that have been raising their hands. So let me try to. Uh, okay, if you have raised your hand, you can unmute yourself and speak. Unmute yourself and speak.
Hey,
One after the other, right? All right, Andy Angle, what's the name? Anglad. So
yes, sir. Hey, Timothy, how's it going, man?
yeah, okay, you're welcome. Um,
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Just had a quick question regarding your the way that you view a breaker. You highlighted an order block on the 4 hour chart back in July.
yeah.
Can we pull that up one more time?
Which the other blocks?
Yeah,
Okay,
on the I forgot what pair we were looking at. We were on the 4 hour chart though.
okay. Guess this.
Um,
This should be it. Yeah. This.
oh yeah, over here, over here.
Okay.
So quick question. So I wanted to ask about like how you view your liquidity runs. I was just curious as to whether price has to go to and through a level in order for it to be a run, or if just a touch of the exact same level would be considered a liquidity grab.
Now, liquidity grab is actually, I have 6 zones, right? It can either be swing high or low. Let me try
Mm-hmm.
to, either of these is actually my liquidity spot. Now, swing high or low, or daily high or low, right? Or weekly high or low, or monthly high or low, then equal high or low, or yearly high or low. These are what I use as my liquidity zones. So for this is actually looks like a swing high or low. So as you can see this year,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like a swing low. The market came to take out that swing low with this particular block. Then with that,
Yes.
market actually gave us an impulsive move. Now, this is an example of a weekly high or lows. Pardon me. This 4 hour, you can see this is a liquidity grab. Market came and
Mm-hmm.
took out last week high, then pull back. So for me, I would have actually taken my LPC trade from here because it's actually a perfect counter trade that I would have really taken. Then my target would be on this block. But you can
Okay.
see this is actually high. The market came and actually take it out. Then there are some rules concerning the number of candles to take it out. The maximum number of candles should be 2 candles, and this is just a week that really came to take it out. So that is really
Okay.
how I consider that. Yeah.
So I mean, if price, so on Tuesday, it looks like July 21st when price wicked above, the previous high,
Yeah.
from last Wednesday.
Yeah.
If price if price didn't go all the way through it, right? If it simply touched that same level and then came down, is that
Yeah.
enough for it to be considered a liquidity grab,
No,
or
it
does it
has
need to
to
go
take it
through it?
out either with a wick. It has to be taken out. That is how what is called liquidity. Because if price just come to this zone without taking it out and just form an equal high, is only multiplying the liquidity at that zone. The market will surely come back and take it out again. So
Mhm.
we are expecting it to really push that high before we can consider it as liquidity grab.
Okay, gotcha. And one more question, if you don't mind. So if we're looking at this Tuesday area that performed the liquidity grab,
Yeah,
the down candle right before that high.
this one.
Um, yes.
Yeah,
So if so the way that I'm playing it right now, like I typically want to see a break in market structure. So I would want for that, like ideally that red candle would for me would have been a swing low.
we can consider this as a breakup block.
Right, right. So like the way that I'm playing it, so I mean, I personally wouldn't have taken it just because it's not a swing low.
Yeah.
But my question regarding swing lows is like if we have two candles that are side by side
Mm,
at the exact same level,
yeah.
can I still consider it a swing low, or do I
No, no, no.
need
It's not. It's not significant, right? It's not really a good one. Some people will use it, but it's not really cool. All right. It's not really cool. It's not good enough. Just like this, right? Look at this low. Some people would have really considered this as equal low, but I would not. Can you see this low? Can you see this side? Can you see what I'm
uh
marking? This area. Can you see my cursor?
yes, I see it.
This area, which is not
Hmm.
really. It is not really it's just a candle low, so it is not really a liquidity grab. Now, on the lower time frame, it might really be right. It We can actually have that on the lower time frame. Let's go to lower time frame, probably 15 minutes time frame. Right on 15 minutes time frame, let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, now if you see the 15 minutes time frame, you will see that this is our equal lows on the 15 minutes time frame. The market came out to take out that liquidity, then actually around. That is
Hmm.
significant on 15 minutes time frame, but on 4 hour time frame, it is not. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. So,
And that,
okay, okay, ask your question.
yeah, sorry about that. So back on the 15-minute chart, can we go back there real quick? So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So to the right. So on July 30th at 9:15.
July 30. This
Yes,
9:15. This,
9:15,
yeah,
right? So we have the liquidity grab, and then we have we have a swing high right to the left of it, right?
this one.
No. It's literally like yeah, right here, right here.
Yeah.
So
So
if
this is the first liquidity grab. This is the first liquidity grab. The market came back again and take it out again before this bullish move.
right, right. So what I wanted to ask though, so that high that's right there, if the green candle and the black candle, right, the up and the down candle, if those two were at the exact same level, can we consider it a break in market structure?
Which
Because
one?
it's not
This one.
the candle that we're looking. Yeah, if both of those were at the exact same high, right? If they both had the same high.
For the real structure, this is where I'm going to consider as a break in market structure. This particular level here. That is what I'm
Mm,
going to consider. But you can really take this as a breaker block.
okay.
As a breaker block, but this is a real structure.
Why do you like that level instead of the
Right.
other?
It's not even this. Now, this is it's just based on market structure. This is the last lower low. This is a lower high. Then this is the last another lower low. So this is where I'm going to use. I'm just following market structure, the real market structure. This is lower low. This is lower
Mhm.
high. This is not a lower low. So the next low is actually going to be these two lows. Then this is when markets
Gotcha.
come back to break structure.
Okay. And one final question, I promise. This is the last question. If we look at the high from July 29th at 11 a.m., like it's kind of between 11 and 13.
Okay. This
The
one.
high, no. Further, not to the right, yeah. So to the left of that though, to the left. So this high right here, right?
Okay.
Can we? So can we just drop like a vertical line on that just real quick, just so we can see it? Okay.
Like this.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do, like I wanted to extend it all the way out to like July 31st, if possible. It's the same way. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So now on July 30th, around like that 15 o'clock,
Okay. On
if price, no, sorry, to the left, the previous day.
this place.
Yeah, when we wicked above it, right?
Okay.
So if price wicked above that level, but
This
didn't
level.
make it, if it only wicked above the line that we just marked out, right?
Yeah.
If it only went above that
Yeah.
and then came back down, can we still consider that a liquidity grab, or do we
No.
want to
No.
see a wick above the most recent one?
This one. This one is
That's
a
the one.
liquidity.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's the
So
last
so
yesterday's high. This is the last yesterday's high. So market came back and take it out.
got you. Okay, cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you can mute yourself. So let
Yes, sir.
another individual should ask a question. Please, I have just limited time here now, so please be snappy with it. Any other person? Any other?
Yeah, hi Ola, how you doing?
Okay, I'm fine. So you did not raise your
Right.
hand, but you can ask
Okay.
on, please, please.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Right, okay. So basically, um, I just want to know, like, for example, liquidity pool, is that same as taking price out at equal high and equal low?
Yeah, liquidity pool is this. They are these zones. The same thing as liquidity zones. They are the same thing
Right,
as
okay.
swap zones. So this all these points that I've listed here, those are liquidity pools.
Right, so it's the same as like taking out price at equal high and equal low.
Yeah, yes.
Right, okay. Right, okay. The other thing is, I noticed that, you're talking about break or market structure, which is equivalent to break of structure, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if you just I know anywhere on a price, I don't know, it doesn't really matter on any time frame. So for example, let's go on H4, for example, and find a long wick to the upside.
I should find it.
Yeah, just
The only
find a
thing
long wick. Yeah, just find a wick
this one.
where there's a high, and then after that it fails to do high, and then it does a
This
creates a
zone.
new then it creates a new low.
Can we use this
Right.
one?
Okay. That's fine. That's a good example. Right. Okay. So for example, there, what's happened is like so that line there's a that horizontal line is kind of like the breakup structure.
Yeah, it can be considered, but it is for me. I would not really
Right.
take that because it is not really effective. But one thing
All
that will
right.
make me to really take that is because of this impulsive move. So impulsive move will really make me to consider this as a breakup structure. But
Right. Okay.
I will first of all consider it as a liquidity graph and take entries from there for the opposite side before I will be looking for a
Yeah.
buying
Yeah. So
opportunity.
yeah, this is what I do because what I do is that horizontal line is a breakup structure because it failed to create further highs and lows, and therefore the price is going down to some kind of POI. I don't know whether you're familiar with POI, position of interest.
I don't know.
All right, okay. So, for example, do you know where you've got the um, bottom order block, the thick one?
This one.
So so basically you're looking for this is kind of like a POI zone, like a position of interest. So you're basically looking for entries around there, like like an RTO, right?
Yeah,
Return
I'll
to
be
order block.
waiting for
Right.
market to come back into this zone. Then I will look for
Okay.
interest.
Oh, so look for entries there. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. So so basically your BOS is kind of like your your BOS is your breakup structure, which is like equivalent to the BMS, right? Breakup market structure.
What is BOS? Yeah, yeah, that's breakup structure.
Breakup structure. Sorry, I
Yeah,
tend to use acronyms. I'm a
yeah,
bit
yeah,
lazy.
yeah,
Right. Okay. So your BOS is kind of like your BMS,
yeah, yeah.
and then the bottom zone, which is your demand zone, is kind of like your position of interest, which is like your entry, which is like your entry to go to to go to the upside.
Yeah, I don't really know what you mean by the bottom zone, but it's yes. Let me just say yes.
Yeah. This basically, yeah, this thick block that you've got at the bottom is kind of
Yeah.
like your demand zone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. So that's your order block that you use
Yeah.
to. Okay. So for example, like make an entry, you'll refine your time frame to something smaller to get a sniper entry to the upside, right?
Yes.
All right, okay, that's fine. So what smaller time frame do you snipe your entries? Do you go below M15?
Any time frame that I can see a convenient structure that fits my rules.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, okay, that's
So we
fine.
have some other people that have raised their hands, so
Yeah,
we
that's
can.
fine. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. So what other person? I guess the last person now. Last
Hello,
person. Yeah,
Ola, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, my question is on engulfed. What does it really mean for candle to be engulfed? Because there are different
Do do
types of
do
engulfed candles. So, which do you consider a perfect engulfed candle that you don't have to refine or?
do you know what refining means? I mean, what engulfing means? Engulfing candle. Do you know that?
Yeah,
So engulfing candle is engulfing candle, just like
I,
this one.
I know that, but there are some times where they are very close. Okay, for example, right there where you have the lady crab,
Yeah,
in the middle, upward
this one.
to the right, up to the right. You have drawn two lines at the top of the candle, up
This
to the
one.
right side. No, you're going to the left, to the right
To
side.
the right, this side.
Yes, the green and black candle. This is engulfed, right? But it's
Yeah,
largely engulfed, and
yeah,
sometimes it's very close to the peak of the black candle,
yeah,
and it's still engulfed. Do you consider such kind of candle engulfed, or
yeah.
the one
Yes,
that
there
stops
is.
at maximum 50% of the other candle?
Yeah, this is still engulfed, so you can still make use of it. You can make use of it, but when candle is too small, I will try as much as possible to reduce it to a lower time frame block. So this is still okay. Like this one also engulfed, right? This engulfed. Can you see this candle? It's engulfed. Then actually fulfill the
Yeah, this is
characteristics.
very much
But
engulfed.
this
Yeah.
this is does not fulfill the characteristics of another block because after it engulfed, it doesn't have an impulsive move and it doesn't break market structure. So I can make use of this to trade.
Yeah, but just because we haven't found perfect example, assuming that it does fulfill the requirement, you have
Yeah.
such a candle, would you consider it engulfed or would you refine it to
Right, it's
50%?
engulfed. It's engulfed, right? When it's engulfed, you don't actually. It's actually the best candle is actually the engulfing, because most of the time price will come back to it, right? Price will come back to it. So all other blocks, right, that I've actually stated actually works, right? But it's just ability for you to see
Mm-hmm.
the best one, and the best one is actually the one that fulfills all those characteristics that I've said, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. One more question about the railroad track you mentioned. Um, sometimes, what is really a railroad track? Because
A
I
railroad
see you're
track
using
is
the candles that are equal side by side,
right. A railroad track
but
is when
sometimes you're gonna see candles that look they're side by side and they still look like it was engulfed. I mean, how do you really define
right.
your railroad track?
That like this is a railroad track. This one, they are railroad tracks. Now, railroad track is when mostly when the bodies of the candles are actually equal. All right, mostly like this is a railroad track, but when the another candle actually closed below the other, then it is not a railroad track. It must not close above the wick, right? It must not close above the wick. Like this actually close above the body, but it doesn't close above the wick. When it closes above the wick, then that is not a railroad track any longer. It is an engulfing. Like this is a railroad track, but this you can see this green candle is actually bigger compared to this black candle, but it's still the same, right? Because this particular candle does not close above the wick, either the low or the high of that. So that's a railroad track according to my own definition anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that is that. This is another one, right? Another railroad track. As you can see, that is where price really pull back to and trade away from. All right, I guess so. That is that is okay for now. So we can close shop for today.
Thank
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. We might have this kind of sections again in the future, but I believe that some of your question has been answered. All right, as many people that still have some questions, all right, probably concerning the mentorship, right? I don't have details on the mentorship for now. All right, so you might not send me a message on the mentorship, but just be at alert. If you really want to join my group, be at on alert. Anytime we want to open the class again, then we will let you know. All right. So thank you so much. So we will talk again later. Bye bye.